When Jamaica Defence Force soldiers slaughtered 5 men from the central Kingston community of Southside in the early morning hours of January 5, 1978, Jamaica reacted with shock and disbelief. Welcome back to Elite Jamaica, the place you come to learn about Jamaica and Jamaicans. If it's your first time joining me here, consider subscribing to the channel by clicking that red subscribe button, and do remember to turn on notifications by clicking that bell icon so you never miss any of my updates.
The man say, who don't come meeting, can't come again when the next man them come back and say the work start. But that is a trick for us draw out everybody. Because they are dead, man. You know, I get no work, see? But that is just a trick for me.
5 other men escaped the incident, known later as the Green-Bay Massacre. Now, one of 3 surviving members of the group of 10 that made the trip to the rugged St. Catherine terrain located in the Elsha Hills is counting his blessings as he relived the epic drama that unfolded. The men were caught in the middle of a covert military operation that lured them into an ambush in the promise of getting jobs paying $300 a week and the possibility of acquiring guns, a coroner's inquest heard later. Green Bay is the worst thing that ever happened to me, Delroy Anthony Griffiths, the only one who still lives in Jamaica, said. People are still talking about it. Even though so many have died in Garden, that is Tivoli Gardens, sometimes people stop me, wanting to give them history. Sometimes they will give me money, said the man who was 23 years old when the incident occurred. Griffiths, now approaching 58, still lives in Southside and frequently traverses the Foster Lane, Last Street and Lad Lane areas of the bruising inner city community. They promised us jobs paying $300 a week, which was big money in those times, Griffith, who is also called Jada Bragg or Green Bay, recounted. Them times I used to run Lad Lane. After watching the show the night called The Godfather, I heard men talking about the trip and saying who don't come meet a big man who giving out work can't come again. But that was a trick to draw out everybody. You were going to die. You were not going to get any work. It was just a trick, stated Griffiths. Initially, 14 men were recruited to make the trip, but only 10 went, as the others either had a change of heart or slept late. But Griffiths remembered the gory details of the operation that left a stain on the JDF. I said I didn't want to know that there was work, and I don't turn up for it, because I had my children going to school, so I said I was going for myself, he related. They woke me up the morning and told my baby mother that I would soon return. One of the youth was sleeping and I pushed my mouth up to kiss him and said, Paulette, me nah bother kiss him, me soon come back, and I put him down. They brought an ambulance and a van. I went into the blue van at Last Street. When we reached, my teeth were hurting.
Come say waiting up and come waiting up. I tell my baby man, say, watch out, I soon come, not tell her when you go. I want to meet you at the point now, I take him up and go so. My mouth reach near to him to kiss him and I say, Paulette, I nah kiss him now, I soon come back and put him down. And charge them. Well, them bring an ambulance and a van. Me going at the blue van up at Last Street. I was going at like a city. See? Mom, it gone now, the man. More money to come to, you know, but you to hide the plan, because $300 enough money then time, you know. See? Well, when me reach now, my teeth kind of, you know.
They took us to a spot at Elsha and told us to stay Yasso. They said that every man should stand one place, and they set us up in front of the high-powered general-purpose gun, which we didn't know about. They then took the head one away, saddled Winston Hamilton to where the big gun was, gave him one shot and then turned the big gun on everybody, said Griffiths. Anybody who was not hit by that gun, the maca prickles that you had to run into would rip you up and tear you up. I ran away when the shooting started, and while I was going through the maca, I met up on a soldier, so I turned off and ran. He shot at me and I ran away on a lonely road until I reached on a little hill with the sea below, he said. I spent the entire day in the bushes and made my way down from the rocks toward the sea, when I saw some fishermen way out. Went on a rock and signaled an X sign to them. I took nearly 20 minutes to make the X sign, and I saw a man put up his hand. The fishermen came towards me and said I had to tell them what's going on. I said that the soldiers were coming, and if they saw us, they would spray us with bullets. The water over that side was cold and shark infested. My knees were knocking, Griffiths recalled. I jumped off in the cold water, got into the boat, and they took me toward Greenwich Farm. When I reached there, I took off towards Caymanas Park, before realizing that I should be going the other way towards Southside. It was like I had lost my mind, he said. I saw some men at the betting shop at Harbour Street and told them that they had just killed some men and they said I was joking. By this time, the other men who escaped went through the Macan into the hills. As it turned out, every man who was killed has a bullet hole in his head, Griffith said. I escaped because I went to watch a movie called Honor Thy Father the night before and seen the guns and people saying hit the dirt. So I was crawling on my hands and knees when the firing started. It's that me use upon them, Griffith stated. Griffiths believed that the move was politically motivated, as Southside has always been known as a stronghold of the Jamaica Labour Party, and the ruling People's National Party at the time was preparing for fresh elections, which came 2 years later and resulted in defeat for the then Michael Manley-led regime. It's because election was coming on why them killed the man them, Griffiths maintained. Right after the shooting, police and soldiers curfew the place, Southside. They had a curfew in the Barry Lane, Lad Lane area. But them other man survive as a fool because them put on black as them come back. The police and soldier them detain every man who wear black, he said. I was just walking around passing the soldiers who did not recognize him. Then I sit in my yard eating some fish and rice and saw them coming, so I opened the door wide, but them didn't say anything to me. I was trembling. The next Sunday morning, they had another curfew. They said that nobody can cross from one side to the next, but I beat them still and cross over, even with a jar of weed in my pocket. I then went to Manchester to hide at my auntie, but after that, Sister Benedict from Holy Family School contacted me to come and give a statement to Mr. Brown from Flying Squad in her office. She said that no police could trouble me, so I went back to Kingston and gave the statement, he said. After that, lawyers Winston Sparling and Abe Dabdoob took up the case and started to carry us to court in the mornings, Griffith said. 10 members of the JDF, some of them members of the military intelligence unit, were later slapped with charges relating to the incident. 7 of them were charged with murder, while 3 were charged with conspiracy to murder. 2 of the murder accused, including the head of the operation, Major Ian Robinson, were also cited for conspiracy to murder. After the coroner's inquest held in Spanish Town found that persons were criminally responsible for the men's death. The JDF maintained that the men went to the firing range to collect the guns smuggled into the island and were surprised by a special strike force which returned gunfire after the men shot at them. How much time we hear them thing here? Jano. Residents of Southside demonstrated against the act, which prompted the inquest and later the trial. All 10 were freed by a jury at the end of the trial in the Manchester Circuit Court between June and July 1982. It also emerged in court that the JDF had used an L8 General Purpose Machine Gun, GPMG. I'm going to put one of those on the screen, guys, so you can see what I'm talking about. As well as self-loading rifles and Sterling submachine guns in the operation. The court also heard that the GPMG, that's the General Purpose Machine Gun, was rarely used by the army, so they planned for them on them. Griffiths, who before had other run-ins with the law enforcers, maintained that the Green-Bay incident was the most devastating. Them killed them others for nothing. It was cold-blooded. I was very afraid. I was trembling. I didn't believe that I would have made it out alive, he stated. Even when I was running away and heading towards the sea, I kept hearing bow, bow, all single shots to the heads of those who were lying on the ground. The soldiers went over them and shot all of them who were lying on the ground, he alleged. That was wicked. The general purpose gun is one that them use in war and can fire over 600 rounds per second. Real thing that, guys. When that lick you can't move, Griffiths argued. No man no have no time for ball out because when the gun turn on, you just a scatter. When they fired it, it's pure blue film, you see. The place just light up. It was a wicked gun. When I was crawling away on my belly, sand was stinging me in my face. The soldier was firing at me and missing, and I couldn't run back to the entrance at the firing range because they would have killed me, he said. The men slaughtered were identified as Norman Gutter Thompson, an outstanding Santos Football Club and Jamaican footballer who had a previous conviction of shoplifting while the Jamaica team toured Bermuda, Glenroy Richards, Martin Howard, Winston Hamilton, and Trevor Clark. Only Hamilton did not have a conviction. Apart from Griffiths, those who survived were Rudolph Nesbeth, Anthony Spencer, Ian Brown, and a man known only as the alias Firebooger. Griffiths appeared to be closer to Thompson, a Rastafarian, who law enforcers presented as a man who had several acts of indiscretion. Me and Gutter Thompson were close. We used to cook, eat, and sleep. We used to go to jail all the time for vagrancies, Griffiths stated. I went to jail for store lifting, too, boss. Me not hide and talk, but me never used to trouble poor people things. I went to jail 2 times for store lifting, he said. It's enough time I got through that and come back. You see this? Pointing to a missing left finger. Is a machete do this. A man chop me straight through my hand. But me wrong still. Him chop the finger deep and then finish cut it off for hospital. Me take with something from a firm straight up, me not lie. But I don't bother with them things anymore. Me I behave myself now, Griffiths insisted. Tomorrow, we take a look at the Black Friday Massacre in Jamaica. Thank you for joining me again, guys. I really do hope you found this video informative, interesting, or I just hope you like it. Please give me a feedback on my narrating because it's the first time I've done a video in the third person. And remember, if you find these videos interesting, you can always subscribe to Elite Jamaica by clicking that red subscribe button. Turn on notifications by clicking that blue subscribe bell, that blue notification bell, so that you will always receive my updates whenever time I upload new videos. Thank you again for joining me. Until then, I am Alex. Bless.
Let's take it away.